And welcome back, everyone, to Movies and Beyond. This is a show where we're going to be talking about movie news and all the stuff that's going on in the world of movies. So, joining me today is Kyle O'Connor. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing okay. I don't know how I feel about the subjects today. There's two of them that um I'm not really into, but the other two I'm excited to just get a bit of news on them. So
Oh,
yeah,
we'll have some good stuff today. We'll have some good stuff. Uh,
yeah. I feel
you
the
know,
first subject is gonna be a quick one.
it'll be a quick but fun segment. A quick but fun segment. So yeah, what we got lined up today, we're going to be talking about the new Expendables trailer, or the Expend Farbless trailer. Uh, Also, we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon being split into a two-parter, and apparently there's going to be multiple cuts for the film. Secret Invasion dropped a new poster. It's 2 weeks out now, Secret Invasion. So they're really starting to ramp up the marketing campaign, and I think we've got 2 episode lengths as well. And we're also going to be talking about Ahsoka. We knew it would come in August, but it's got an actual release date now in August, so that's exciting. And one more thing we're going to be talking about is Tom Holland speaking about Miles Morales in the MCU. So let's not waste any time and let's jump into the first topic, which I'll just get that up now. Right, so this is just a quick synopsis for the new Expend Bluff or fucking whatever it is filmed. And it says, armed with every weapon they can get their hands on, the Expendables are the world's last line of defense, and the team will get, and that gets called whenever the other options are off the table. Right, Kyle. I know I've just made you watch this trailer. What do you think of it?
Um, it the first thing I thought was it looks like one of the bad Transformers movies without the Transformers. Um, and then I thought to myself, I'm not a big fan of the Fast and Furious movies. But like I've heard, the latest one, the one prior, Fast Nine or whatever it was called, they weren't particularly good movies. But those movies at least look interesting. They to a certain degree, like the action's a bit different. I know I'm taking it a little bit more seriously critically, but wow, it just looks so. I don't even know how to describe it. Like I thought the Fast movies looked bad. This looks, yeah, it doesn't look good. Um,
Yeah, I would agree
I,
with
I
you on that.
yeah, it doesn't look good. It's got all that cheesy. It's got nothing to it. Um, it's flavorless. It's a very it from what I know. It's just a trailer, but it's just so like, do you know what I mean? Even the way the trailer was cut, it was just so bland and
Yeah,
it's a very generic film. It looks like a movie that you'd see in a movie trying to, do you know what I mean? So say like, oh, it's a generic action film, and just something in the background or whatever. It's literally that. It's how bland it looks.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not gonna bother with this one. It's got all the whoa, 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 and then whoa, and then whoa, 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 and the whoa, and then that little head bobble is the thing that I hate when action movies do that. It's just like, like that, like what, what
So
the fuck is that?
I'll ask you this question then. You're not excited for the Megan Fox and Jason Statham sex fighting scene?
I mean,
Kyle,
I'm honestly sick of just saying Jason Statham. Jason
it's
Statham.
it's sex fighting. I'll tell you
I,
right
I
now.
I didn't take anything good away from this movie. Like, there's nothing there. I mean, Sylvester Stallone is like probably the only thing that could save it from this film and save the film, and I still don't think it'll. Yeah, no, it just looks, yeah, generic.
I'll say this. this to me is probably the second worst trailer of the year. Right behind that Fast X trailer that came out. From when
I think it's worse than
you
that
think it's
Fast X
worse?
trailer. Absolutely, yeah. Like at the end of the day, I know like we meme about it a little bit with the whole family thing. I mean, everybody does. At least we got a bit of a kick out of that. You know, at least I smiled. You know,
Yeah.
we smiled during that. We had a little laugh with it, and you know, we said we'd go see it just for the shits and gigs of it. This I don't even want to see. I was just like, I'm I, I'm saying this. I'm glad I've got YouTube Premium because I did not want to wait for an advert. I wouldn't have waited for an advert to see this. I don't want to see this film.
We
This
are seeing it opening night.
you, you'll
Do
be
you,
by yourself,
do you
mate.
know why? Do
I'll
you know why we're seeing it opening night?
go on.
Because it comes out on September 8th.
I'd rather play September 8th.
Yeah. What's rumored to come out on September 8th?
I'm at a loss here.
The Spider-Man game.
Oh, is it rumored for then? I thought it was. Oh yeah, it's September, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
back onto
No,
this.
not happening.
We're definitely seeing it opening night.
I'd rather go watch all of the Fast and Furious movies back to back
Yeah.
than see this film.
Well, to me, there was nothing as bad in that trailer as "You'll never break my family."
Yeah, but I think they put that in there for the sake of like people are gonna meme it. They need to put family in it.
Yeah.
It's bad, but it's like ha, you know, you kind of laugh at it bad.
Well,
Whereas this was just awful.
the way I see this is our 80s action heroes Avengers retirement edition. I remember.
I just think that line is so stupid. I can't hear what the other guy says, but he's like one of them say, "Oh, is that a sniper?" And it's like the most basic sniper. It's not even a sniper. It's an M4.
Specialized scope.
And I'm
So-
like,
And
what?
50 Cent's like, remember this face.
It's like, yeah. He's like, remember this face so you don't shoot it or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, what is this writing? Like, I know, like, I one of the reviewers who seen Fast X said that it was literally written by a child. This looks like I don't even know how this was written because I could, you know, probably a child could do better.
I'll tell you exactly how it was written. Have you seen them videos where the people get the cheese with a hole in it and they throw it on a piece of paper or on a book with the words and they read where the words come out with the holes in the cheese? That's how it was written.
I think we'd get a better movie out of that. I think we'd get better
seen
writing
it
from
yet.
that. No, I know, but
This could be the John Wick of the Expendables. And they must be doing something right. They've made fucking 4 of them.
they make money. I mean, you gotta look at the Transformers movies. They're a prime example for that. They get worse as they go on, especially the later ones, but they still make money.
Hell yeah. Right. Anyway, I think we're done shitting on Expendables.
I mean, they even copied the Fantastic thing. Like, why? It's not cool. Like, who uses numbers in titles anymore?
Kyle.
Just, it's so.
For me, please, get Expendables tattooed on you somewhere.
No, because this movie isn't even memeable. It's just bad from what we see in the trailers, and the marketing motto thing.
Right.
They'll die. What do they say? They'll die when they're dead or something.
Yeah. I'll do you a deal.
Go on.
If we hit 200 subscribers by the time this film comes out, you've got to get Expendables tattooed on you.
I mean, when's it coming out? September 8th. Uh,
That's very much in your favour.
yeah,
I've
alright,
set a
fine.
high
But not
milestone. That
nothing crazy.
just well, I'll get it as well.
No, I want you to get family.
Right, fair enough. I'll get family. But anyway,
Gotta have your surname in it as well.
let's move on now. We've had a little laugh. Zack Snyder. I think we all know that he's got a bit of a exclusive contract with Netflix, and he's working with them at the moment, and he's enjoying working with Netflix. His next upcoming film is a sci-fi film called Rebel Moon. Now, I've been excited for this film. I know it's coming out at the back end of this year, I believe. Some news came out today that apparently this film's going to be a two-parter, and he's going to make multiple cuts of each version. So what this says to me is Netflix likes the idea of a Snyder cut to market something like that. But if Zack Snyder's in charge and he's making this film and Netflix is giving him the freedom, why doesn't he just make the film that he wants to make in the first place? So anyway, what do you think about this, Kyle?
I'm just still waiting on that animated movie that was supposed to come out. I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be involved in that. For the zombies movie you made for Netflix. For this though, I don't know. I mean, I like Zack Snyder. He did a good job with his own cut of the you know, and he did what he did his best that he could with the DC films, because at the end of the day, I can imagine a lot of input, um, and a lot of control was taken away from him. With those movies, Batman v Superman and things. But he made Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel is fantastic. I think it's a great movie. Um, Obviously, the later, the other movies, like I said, they've had a bit of criticism. With with this, I'm excited for a bit of sci-fi. I think that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Um, that's all I really can say about it. To be honest,
Well,
is I'm excited to see what sci-fi thing they do.
but what do you think of him? Splitting it into two films and all these different cuts. Do you think they should just put out the one cut and be done with it and be like, no, this is the film he wants to make. Let's not string it out. Or do you like the idea of getting it? Maybe it's supposed to be two films, but each separate film is going to have different cuts. Would you rather them just stick out the one, or do you like the different versions to watch? Maybe it's
I,
different endings and stuff like that.
I mean, I don't get it. Like nothing's ever done that before, so it'd be cool to see an experiment with. But it's kind of like you're letting the audience to kind of decide what they want the most. So it's trying to avoid all criticism. Because if you don't like that cut, we'll just watch the other cut.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a bit weird. It's definitely probably a first. The reason why I think the Snyder Cut for the Justice League worked so well is because it was so special, and it was Snyder's Snyder's cut, and he added some extra bits to it, extra scenes, and he didn't hold back. Whereas this, like you said, he's got full control. So what's the point? Why
yeah,
why? Um, if it's going to be a different cut, what does that mean? Does it mean it's going to be more gorier or something like that? But like you said, Snyder can make whatever he wants with Netflix by the sounds of it. So I don't really get it.
yeah. So I'll say this.
As a two-parter, sure. If it
Yeah,
needs to be split into two parts, look at Star Wars. It needed to be split into three. Yeah, if it needs it and it needs a bit more breathing room, so it has a movie each, I'm glad. Yeah, do that. Just I
yeah,
hope that they don't. I hope it deserves that second part, and it's not just
yeah.
splitting it
I
two
hope
movies.
they haven't filmed like enough to give us two 90-minute films.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? If you these two films have got to be over 2 hours long each.
Yeah.
Surely to warrant a two-parter. But like I said, what I'll say for
It,
this,
it's the trend though. I can't
yeah,
lie. Two-parters now are trending. They did it with Harry Potter, Infinity War, even though they took out the part one, part two kind of thing. They've did it with the animated Spider-Man movies, Spider-Verse movies. And it can be a good thing. It can be a really good thing.
it's worked. It's worked well as of late.
Yeah, it can really give you what you want to show on screen. It can give it a lot of room to breathe and give it more depth. But then you've got the risk of it's just dragged out for the sake of
Yeah,
it. And
because
you wait, you end that first part and you're just waiting for the second part. Like
well,
just
yeah,
that's it.
that's it. Back in the day, it used to be, oh, we'll throw this film out, this part one, and hold back all the interesting stuff to save it for, you know, the next film. That's stopped now. You can see with Spider-Verse what's just happened. There was loads of great stuff in that. We won't get into that too much because I don't want to spoil it. It's only just come out. But Infinity War, people still, you know, to this day say Infinity War is the better film overall than Endgame. When do you hear a part one being better than a part two?
Yeah,
You,
no,
so, you know, and these standout moments in it that stick out. They didn't just save
yeah,
all the big moments
it
for
can.
the second film.
A part one needs to be able to stand on its own
Absolutely, 100%.
and not rely on part two. Part two is there for continuation of what they've done great in part one. It's just more of it, maybe a little bit different. But that's
Yeah,
how I stand with part one and part two. As I said, I think personally, if it needs the part two, um, I'm all for it. I'll watch it. If the part one grips me and it gets me in, if part one isn't, it's like watching a TV show. If it doesn't grip me straight away, then why should I? Not really, you know. I mean, there is some exceptions to that. You look at, say, for example, Game of Thrones. I remember when you showed me that, I wasn't gripped at all with the first
the
season.
first episode
It
of Game of
was,
Thrones is notoriously slow and bad.
yeah, exactly,
The
yeah. I was only gripped with Game of Thrones when it came to like sort of like the last three episodes. Um, so you know, there's some exceptions to that, but still, it's just with a movie. It's split into two parts. It's a movie. It needs some greatness in both parts.
yeah, which is quite a risk because they haven't made one of the films yet.
Yeah.
But what I'll say this film has going for it, it's got obviously Zack Snyder directing. It's also just starring Sons of Anarchy's Charlie Hunnam, and it's also starring Sophia Boutella. You know, the girl who was in The Mummy, but more importantly, her role I
Yeah.
prefer more as the woman with the blade legs in the
Yeah.
first
Yeah. From
Kingsman film.
Kingsman.
So that's good to me. I like that. It's looking like it's got a full cast. It's absolutely stacked. It's got Anthony Hopkins in it. It's got Ray Fisher who played Cyborg in Justice League. So obviously he's sticking close to Zack Snyder because I know he don't want to work with DC anymore. But yeah, we haven't seen a trailer yet. We've seen a little tease on a Netflix what's coming this year. But I'll make up my mind more when I see a trailer, and then my mind will be completely made up if it's warranted when the film actually comes out, if it deserves a part two, or if it's just wasted away. But also, one last thing I'll add on to this: with it being Netflix, it doesn't need to stick to like a normal theatrical release window of when should I release the the next part for more synergy. It doesn't need to have its theatrical run, then go onto digital, and then have that run, and then release the next film. This can release the first film, and then 2-3 months later go, here's part two. But that's all. That's all. No, I've got to say about that. But anyway, Kyle. Secret Invasion. It's got a new poster. And it looks a little bit like this. So this is a new poster. I think it is very MCU simple. Definitely goes with that basic MCU sort of poster.
I like it. I mean,
I
you know,
like
if
it.
the show's great, I'd put it up on my wall. I mean, my wall's quite bland, so it needs something anyways. But I'd get that framed. You know, that'd be a pretty. It is a cool poster. It's a little different, but it sticks with the MCU formula of
Well, yeah, with the
main character has a big head, the rest of
yeah.
them don't.
It has the scroll in the background, the scroll
Hmm.
shadow behind everyone, and it's saying, "Who can you trust?" Um,
Hmm.
the thing that's exciting me the most about this is it's coming across very Winter Soldier esque. Now, I don't know if you know this about me, Kyle, but the Winter Soldier is possibly my favourite comic book film of all time. But you know, there's no signs that would give that away about me. If that show is written like that, like the beginning half of Winter Soldier, you don't know who you can trust, who's Hydra, you know, who's actually with Shield, then this could make a really good show. And another thing that's backing that up is we've had two episode lengths leaked, and usually Marvel Disney Plus show, what you're getting, about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So the first two episodes are around 55 minutes long. So to me, they're putting nice lengthy episodes out. They're gonna, almost like an HBO show. Like an episode of The Last of Us. I feel like we'll be able to watch these episodes and feel full after we've eaten. But yeah, what do you think about the episode lengths?
Um, well, I hope it's consistent with the rest of the show. I don't
Yeah,
want to see any 30-minute episodes. I'm really I love the Marvel shows they've done. I'm one of the few that kind of enjoyed She-Hulk to an extent. I like some bits in it. The thing with the Disney Plus MCU shows is they feel too short and they can drag a little bit for the sake of just expanding. Um, with this, I have a little bit more faith in it because it does give me that, like I said, Winter Soldier vibe, and I feel like if it had a nice, lengthy, beefy episode, um, you know, that they're doing stuff with it that I want to feel, like I said, I want to feel full from it. I don't get that from any of the Marvel show. The only Marvel show I find personally that gives me that feeling of like a nice, complete, rounded episode. Um, it's probably, if I'm going to be honest, it's probably WandaVision, and that had like cliffhangers at the end of every episode. So, but it still had a nice,
yeah.
beefy episode.
Well, like, yeah,
The best show that I've seen do this though, in Marvel wise, is probably obviously Daredevil. I mean, you know, not to kiss Daredevil's ass here, but it is probably the best Marvel show out there. Um,
yeah,
I'm currently in the rewatch of it. I went even through Defenders, and yeah, it's just like with Daredevil, you got a whole story and episode, and that thing, the whole show when they dropped a season, because this is a Netflix thing back in the day, they drop the whole thing. Whereas these Disney Plus shows, they release one a week, and I feel like I feel like I would have maybe enjoyed them more if I could watch all the episodes straight up. Whereas the Daredevil show, I feel like I could wait. I could wait a week. It's a nice long episode. You're getting a whole story in an episode. I wish it was the other way around. With this, I hope they're now doing that when
yeah,
it comes to the length and you know.
yeah. Because I very much prefer wait. It's weird. I prefer waiting week to week for
Mm.
episodical stuff. But only if you're getting nice, long, beefy episodes like this. Because I
Yeah,
tell you
that
what, there's
aren't filler.
that aren't filler. Because there's nothing worse than you know either I go to yours or you come to mine, and we're ordering food and we're gonna make a night out of it, and then we put Disney Plus on and we realise this thing that we've planned our whole day around and our whole evening around is 30 minutes of it.
Mm.
You know, so give us nice long episodes. I hope that stays consistent throughout the whole
I mean,
thing.
do you know what it is as well? It's not like, that they're making the shorter episodes for the sake of like, um, people watching them. People will watch long things. People want
Yeah,
that. I mean, look at House of the Dragon and how successful that was, and that had um, really beefy episodes as well. So did Game of Thrones, and people are still watching that for the
Last
first
of Us.
time.
Last of Us.
Last of Us, there you
That
go.
first episode was nearly a feature-length film.
Exactly, yeah.
So people will sit and watch it these days. You just need to bring the quality to your content, and people will sit and watch it because I think now that I think they've learned. Now they've put out a couple of shows. They've learned, what works, what don't. Moon Knight, they were all pretty long episodes as well. That's definitely up there, better. The only reason why WandaVision worked with the shorter episodes is because that was the whole mystery of the story and it played into it.
And I feel like, for me personally, I feel like every Disney Plus show kind of just kept trying to use that formula and it
Yeah.
didn't really work for it. It's
Yes.
like it's one of my biggest criticisms of She-Hulk is they like tease something at the end of the episode and you watch the next episode and nothing happens
Yep.
relating to that, and it teases something else, and it's like it's trying to create a mystery. I don't always need a mystery when I'm watching these shows. I just need a good story.
But I will say this about Secret Invasion: we're talking about mysteries, right? And the whole point of like WandaVision going through it was like, who's the big bad at the end? The whole point of Falcon and Winter Soldier. The whole thing was, who's the power broker? They wanted to have these questions going throughout it. Loki, who's in charge of the TVA? That's another one. Questions running all the way through it. And it got to the point where they even edited Hawkeye, Kingpin scenes out of Hawkeye because they wanted to leave the villain a mystery,
Yeah.
which was dumb. Because if you hadn't seen the Kingpin deleted scenes in Hawkeye, it's some really good stuff, and it would have probably bumped that show up a little bit more. But then again, She-Hulk, who's the villain? Who's the villain? But right, but then it takes you to Moon Knight. You know who your villain is. You're introduced to him right away, and that's not an issue. There's other mysteries you can uncover in the episode. Same with Ms. Marvel. It's a pretty basic story, but I love that show. I
Ms.
love it.
Marvel was brilliant.
Ms. Marvel. I'm not going to say I wanted to dislike the show, but I didn't. I did not think I was going to enjoy that show one bit. But yeah, but it is why we need to be careful because we're going now. If there's one show though I can forgive that's going to have mystery going through it, going who's who, who's doing what, is Secret Invasion with the
I,
scrolls.
I I know, but I don't want them to keep teasing it. Like
No.
I don't want to see the episode end with a certain character doing something to raise suspicion. Like, you know, I don't want that. I feel like it does that too much with the shows that they've already done, where they do something at the very end and they make it really obvious kind of thing. Like, just let us, just give us a good story and give us a little mystery, but don't keep us like just solely focusing on that mystery, because that's all a lot of people think about as well when they're watching these shows. Like they'll watch the story and the story might be weak, and then because the story's weak in the episode, they're just focusing on, oh, what's this mystery, and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting. um
Yeah.
yeah.
No. If it's written well, I don't mind a good mystery week to week. It's a pattern that they've used quite a bit. But if there's one I can forgive, it is Secret Invasion. But
Yeah, we'll see how they do.
yeah, so excitement level, Kyle. 2 weeks out now from Secret Invasion. The marketing campaign is going to really start ramping up. So whereabouts are you on a scale of 1 to 10 excitement?
I'm looking forward to it. I feel like Nick Fury, later, late in the MCU. He wasn't shown much love, and I feel like now this is his. He's got his own show. It's Nick Fury's show, like
Yeah,
no, without a doubt, and I'm all for that. I'm excited. I think I'll probably get a bit more excited the closer it is. You know me, I like to stay away because it feels like
yeah.
the show or
Temper
the
your
movie comes out
expectations.
quicker. Yeah, temper my expectations definitely. But this one I expect to really enjoy, and if I don't,
Yeah,
I'll be very surprised.
I see. I see. Don't hold me to this, but I see Secret Invasion being the Andor of the Marvel universe.
Mm.
People seeing Andor going, "Wow, who knows? Who knew Star Wars could be written this well?"
Mm.
I really feel like we're going to see that with Secret Invasion.
I mean, I hope so.
I
I really hope so.
We can only hope, but
That'd be the best case scenario.
yeah,
Absolutely best case.
but yeah. Anyway, from one Disney Plus show to another, Kyle, uh, Ahsoka is coming out this year. We've known for a long time it's gonna be coming out in August. Uh, they've officially announced it today that Ahsoka will be coming on August 23rd. So closer to the back end. But how excited are you for Ahsoka?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm tempering my expectations just because of Obi-Wan. Now, I enjoyed Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show, but I didn't love it. I was really hoping I'd go in and love that show.
Yeah,
Um, with what they've been doing with the Star Wars shows lately is, um, I really enjoyed Mandalorian season 3. It
but
was just
it was the weakest.
strange.
It was the weakest one of both them seasons.
Yes, yeah,
With
yeah,
that,
yeah, definitely.
it's not even questionable that it's the weakest season. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's definitely the weakest season.
Yeah, it still had some great moments in it. It still had
Yeah,
some really good stuff. I hope that Ahsoka's for the show, it's written and it's done because there's a story there for Ahsoka to tell. Um, I don't want it to be like let's just make an Ahsoka show because that's what people want. That's what I kind of felt like Boba Fett was. Um, it was just like I've always wanted a Boba Fett something movie show whatever. But when I watched the show, it just felt like they made the show for the sake of, at least we can
yeah.
say we made a Boba Fett show. Um,
He really
I
works
mean,
better as a
there
side
was a
character.
story to tell. There was a story to tell there, but I just don't think it was done very well.
That story could have been told in a 2 episode arc of Mandalorian season 3, though.
It could have done, yeah.
Yeah,
But like I said, with Ahsoka, I just hope we don't. That's not the case with that. I hope it's fleshed out. It feels Boba Fett for me personally at least. It felt like a spin-off of The Mandalorian, which is weird. Like it shouldn't feel like that. So I hope Ahsoka. It doesn't look from the trailers and everything. It doesn't look like that's the case. It looks like it's gonna have its own stories, and that's something that could have its own spin-offs later on. Excuse me, down the line. But we just have to wait and see.
well,
I'm looking forward to it because I love Ahsoka as a character. She was fantastic in The Mandalorian.
we know,
Uh,
we know we're working towards that film. We know Grand Admiral Thrawn's going to be the villain of Ahsoka,
yeah.
and is probably going to be the villain of the. I think it's been confirmed that Thrawn's going to be the villain of the Mandoverse movie. For me, I thought that first Ahsoka trailer was fantastic. I really wasn't. I do like Ahsoka as a character again, but this is something else that I look at like Miss Marvel, and I thought, if there's one like Disney Plus show I'm least looking forward to this year, it'll be Ahsoka. But then when that first trailer came out, it really blew me away. And I tell you what, the 23rd of August can't come quick enough. There's one other thing I want to touch on. I really hope they do Ray Stevenson justice.
Mm.
Obviously, with him passing, last month, I believe, back end of last month or
Mhm.
middle. I think this is going to be his last project that he's done. So,
Yeah.
but he gets to wield a lightsaber and look absolutely badass.
I mean, the lightsabers do look cool. I like how they're not red; they're like a kind of orange.
Yeah.
But it's not like a bright orange. Like it looks very. I don't know. It's a unique color. Do you know what I mean? And I think it looks really cool. Um, I'm excited for it. Like I said, I'm hoping. Again, I'm tempering my expectations because Mandalorian season 3 was kind of weak. Boba Fett, for some bloody reason, had a Mandalorian episode in it.
Which that Mandalorian
Um,
episode in the middle of Boba Fett was fantastic.
it was,
It
it
just felt out of place.
it was, but why was it there?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? That could have been in season 3 of Mando, and it could have probably been one of the better
Well,
episodes in season 3.
I personally really love the last 3 episodes of Book of Boba Fett, but coincidentally enough, they're all the ones with Din Djarin in.
I like the story arc with him and the Tusken Raiders and stuff like that. It's just, you know, after Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett show, I feel like he's just kind of, do you know what I mean? They don't set him up for anything cool. I know he was supposedly supposed to be in season 3 of
Yeah.
Mandalorian at the end, all the other Mandos, and that didn't happen. So it's like, well, what's going on?
Well, they even
Um,
teased him in a poster. They put a poster up of all the Mandalorian helmets, and then in the
exactly, yeah.
bottom corner, the bottom right corner, was a very distinct helmet with a very distinct bump in it, and then you don't use him. So
It's weird as well because tomorrow Morrison, I can't
yeah,
say his name.
that's perfect.
Um, so I remember seeing he said something along the lines of, you know, you kind of take one of my episodes away from my own show, and
And at
then
least give me, yeah,
you know what I mean. So I mean, it could just be a bit of a, everything we've got from the Disney Plus side of things. With it's mainly the Mandalorian. Let's be honest. Um, with Star Wars, it's been the Mandalorian. That's all been great. When they've tried expanding it out, when they slowly expand it, it goes really well. If they go too fast, if they go too quick with it, I don't think it really works. Um, I like that they were able to do the whole Bo-Katan stuff. It's just it took away from
yeah,
Mando. Because
yeah,
for a long time we thought, oh, Din Djarin, Mando is he's gonna be the new ruler of Mando. He has the dark saber. He's going through all this. He's becoming this almost leader.
yeah,
And he's not trying to be that, whereas Bo-Katan was. And for a little bit, even still watching season 3. At the beginning, we thought, oh, Bo-Katan is gonna definitely like betray him, so she can get her
yeah.
hands on the dark saber or something along like that. So, yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'll ask you the same question. Anticipation level. Where you at from 1 to 10 for Ahsoka?
I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna say 7. I was gonna think 5, but
I'm
it's
about
Ahsoka, so 7.
I'm about 7.5. You know, it's winning me over. I thought the trailer were great, uh, and I do like the show Rebels, and it does seem like just a sequel to Rebels. So
I've
yeah,
never seen Rebels, so I can't speak for that.
it's it's more consistent than Clone Wars. I'd say that Clone Wars is a
Yeah,
bit
Clone Wars is all over the place. You've got to
yeah.
watch like season 5, episode 7.
Clone Wars is very hit and miss, but
Yeah.
there's some great episodes and some really childish episodes. You're sitting there thinking, God, I hope fucking no one walks in while I'm watching this.
Yeah, you do get quite a bit of filler
But
ones.
but then again, the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars is probably some of the best Star Wars that you'll ever see in your life.
Never seen it.
Get on it. But anyway, Kyle, from Disney Plus now to something that you will be able to talk about for hours and hours and hours. Tom Holland has been speaking about your best mate Miles Morales. So while he's been promoting his new TV show, The Crowded Room, he's been asked directly about Miles, and he said he'd be honoured to bring Miles into live action world. How we'd do that, I don't know. But given the opportunity, he'd jump at it. So obviously he wants to work with he wants to work with a character playing Miles Morales. Later on in this article as well, he says that he'd really like to play that mentor figure
Hmm.
towards Miles. So I'll just let you rip. What do you think about this?
Um, I'd like to see. Everyone would love to see that. Thing is, with Peter after No Way Home, I feel like he's just being like now we're gonna see Prime Spider-Man. I don't. It might be a bit controversial saying this, but I don't want to see Miles in the next Spider-Man movie that he's gonna
No,
do.
no, no, me neither.
What I want from this movie is something with some stakes, um, some new, some newfound sort of area to play in.
Yeah,
Do something different. Um, but lower the stakes. It's Spider-Man. Just lower the stakes just a bit. And if they're gonna do something with Miles, I want them to do that in the film after that,
and build it up
where
slowly.
yeah, Peter's at the stage now. So like maybe feature him, dot Miles out as Miles Morales for about halfway
Yeah,
in the
so
film.
so this is my roadmap for Miles. What I would like to see: no Miles in Spider-Man 4.
Hmm.
Bring Miles in as a character in Spider-Man 5. Have him get bit in that film, and then Spider-Man 6. We're talking Tom Holland's going to be in his maybe coming up to his mid-30s. Then he's 27 now. Spider-Man 6. Have a joint film for both of them and really pushing the baton in Spider-Man 6.
Yeah, but also I want them to team up in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
movie.
oh
I
yeah,
want them
definitely.
to,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but anyway, go on. Keep going, my friend.
But it's exactly the same. I was going to say.
Yeah,
You said it perfectly.
still the words out your
Um,
mouth.
Basically, yeah. Just that's all I can ask for. Maybe in the second film, maybe it's something to do with I don't know the Prowler or whatever, and that's what kind of leads with Peter and Miles kind of connecting in a weird way. Um, but yeah, I feel like still Tom Holland, he's much older now. Don't get me wrong, from when he started being
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
he's just turned 27.
I know, yeah. I still don't see him mentoring someone.
No,
I feel like he needs one more movie.
to become
He has
himself.
he has matured. He's matured at the end of No Way Home. You see this new version of Spider-Man. He's just begun this new path that he's taking.
Yeah,
Uh, of being by himself. So give him some room to breathe. Um, let him just. I want another movie that's like Homecoming. Great movie, great action, lower the stakes. That's all I ask.
yeah,
And if they do that, I feel like they can knock it out of the park. The movie will make money. It won't be relying on cameos and things like that. It will just be a solid Spider-Man movie, and yeah, people won't be expecting big things like the multiversal stuff. Do you know what I mean?
it really needs to. After that last one, it really needs to get reeled in a bit more, and then
Yeah, it'll help differentiate itself from the Spider-Verse movies as well.
I really want to see a street level like trilogy
Yeah.
in New York because we haven't seen Spider-Man swing around New York all that much
Mm.
in the Home trilogy. We see it for a little bit at the end of Far From
When
Home. At
when
the
you pointed
beginning,
it out in Homecoming at the end, when he I know he wouldn't have been wearing like his more Spider-Man suit. It was more like his um homemade suit. But why did he steal Flash's car? Like it just felt like he stole it for the sake of it. Like
yeah, that could have been
a
a
wasted
really good,
opportunity.
really good like final swing.
Yeah, I think for me personally, just thinking about it, they probably didn't feature it. I feel if they were gonna do it, they'd put it in like a city, and we've already seen that with Andrew.
Yeah,
But what they could have done instead then is maybe maybe swinging around, you know, a neighborhood that's not got these super tall skyscrapers or whatever. Just see him maneuvering about, parkouring about, and little swings here and there. Not driving a car. We see
yeah,
it. We see a little bit of it when he's running through, garden hopping, and he
yeah.
gets picked up by the vulture. Like
But
just
that were good. That were fun for the time because it's Spider-Man trapped in the suburbs. We hadn't seen that before. What does that look like? He can't swing
yeah.
off anything. But here's another question I've got for you. Have you got you know, by the time casting for Miles Morales comes up, I'm pretty sure there'll be some solid options to cast as Miles Morales. But is there anyone you see right now who you think could take the role on?
In a perfect world, it'd be Donald Glover, but that ain't happening.
Yeah, he's definitely a bit too old for that now,
I mean, he's already the Prowler.
and he's already the Prowler.
Um, I don't know. I just hope it's. You're gonna hate me on this. I like the Miles Morales. I really like him, and I love the game. But I just think I like the Spider-Verse Miles Morales a lot more. I just think he's a bit cooler.
Oh
He's just,
yeah, I
do you know what I mean?
yeah, I
A bit
prefer
more
that Miles.
relatable.
Yeah,
That's no discredit for the the work they did with the game version of him. I still think it's brilliant. I love the Miles Morales
well,
Spider-Man
Miles is
game.
getting a lot of love right now. He,
Yeah,
he just needs to be brought to live action, and then it's complete.
yeah. So I want someone that's kind of cool, relatable. Um, just give someone who's kind of just give someone who's cool. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, but differentiate him from Peter.
Well, the one that I wanted to see, where I think by the time they come to casting Miles, he's probably going to have grown out of the role, is I think it's Lucas from Stranger Things.
Jaden Smith.
No, definitely not Jaden Smith. Lucas from Stranger Things. I think his name's Caleb McLaughlin.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
Yeah, I think that's what swayed me. I've seen a lot of fan art as it, but I think he's good in Stranger Things. I think he's good at what he does. But I think this question's a bit redundant though, because by the time it comes to casting, let's say Spider-Man 4, let's say that's 2 years away now. That comes out in and then the other Spider-Man film's going to be another 2 or 3 years after that. So we're looking 5 years in the future. So the person who you could be playing Miles Morales could be an 11-year-old right now, just sitting in class doing not even thinking about acting. So I suppose it's a question
the question for the future.
for the
It's definitely a
future,
question for the future.
definitely.
You can't point a finger at anyone right now and say
No,
like um it's one of those things. It's like when they cast Tom Holland in the role. We pointed fingers, or we've said, oh, it could be him, could be him, could be him. Before that, before we knew Spider-Man was definitely coming to the MCU in Civil War, we we didn't really have an idea, kind of thing.
yeah, and we didn't know how young they were going as well, did we?
Uh, uh,
Like the look of someone who was young. Yeah. Now, you say he's not ready for the mentor role yet. I completely agree with that. But there's one thing I want to hear him say to Miles. I want him to take Miles' suit off him. And then Miles says, you got to give me back the suit. I'm nothing without it. And then Peter turns around and says to Miles, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. And I'm calling it
yeah,
right now. They are 100% doing that.
I mean, yeah, it'd be a nice callback. I, yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be
So,
nice. That would be a nice callback.
and my other question is, just the last thing on this topic. Do you see Sony allowing Miles to be part of the MCU?
Ooh, um, this is another question that you can't really give an answer to be honest. Just because of what Sony are doing, it's very strange what they're doing. It seems
Yeah.
like they're very up in the air and kind of thing. Also, just a quick question as well, not a question, but not to you, but a question to float around is they're doing all this multiversal stuff with Sony doing all that in the Spider Verse and that, but we see like spoiler, we see someone in into the spider across the Spider Verse. I'm not gonna say what. Um, But it's weird that when they universe hop in that movie, in those movies, they glitch out and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's showing like, oh, they're not in their correct universe. So why didn't that happen with Toby and Andrew?
Um,
I mean, I get
I
it why they
seen.
wouldn't be in the, you know, well, I'm kind of getting spoiler territory here, but
I
yeah,
seen
that's
something.
something.
I seen something that says um, Miguel's multiversal travel is technology based, whereas when all the villains and the Spider-Man came over in Doctor Strange, that was magic based.
Yeah.
So I don't know what difference that makes. Maybe that's something to do with it.
Mm.
But I think we're taking a lot of thingy as well here, saying that the Spider Verse films are going to be connected to the MCU, which we still we still don't know for sure.
I feel like that Sony want to be connected to the MCU now.
Yes.
That's without a doubt. They don't want to leave the MCU clearly. Whereas the MCU is just kind of like, yeah, he's there. He's not really involved in anything. He's not
Yeah.
directly connected with anything. He gets one little name drop in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, um, when they're talking in a little cafe.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you get. Whereas in Across the Spider-Verse, we get to see a little bit more. Not gonna say
Yeah.
what, but
My
it makes it clear.
my ideal scenario would have been Sony, instead of making a Morbius film, instead of making a Craven film, instead of making a Madam Web film, would be making live action Miles Morales films for themselves. And then by the time it is, to get Miles Morales joined up with Tom Holland Spider Man, he would have been, very similar to Miles in Spider Verse. Peter Parker's dead. He takes over when Peter Parker dies, and he's been Spider Man in his universe.
Yeah, I like the theory that you not theory, but the idea you had quite a while ago is keep let Sony do the live action Miles Morales movies. Let Sony do that.
Yeah, because they've got a
Um,
they've got $1 billion franchise right there that they're not tapping into. The
yeah,
I mean, well, they are now. Apparently, they're going to be making live action Miles Morales movie, but that's Amy Pascal saying that. Whenever Amy Pascal opens her mouth, something stupid comes out. You know, she deserves all the credit in the world for bringing people together to make Spider Verse. But I remember when Homecoming were coming out, and then someone asked her about Venom. Is it going to be in the MCU? And she sat next to Kevin Feige, and she goes,
we all know
"Yeah,
the interview.
yeah, they're all connected, mate." Kevin Feige's eyes lit up like fuck. He was like, "What the bitch just say?"
Yeah. Um, Honestly, they're gonna keep it a mystery. We're not gonna know. We're not even gonna know when the next movie comes out. We will probably have an idea of what actually is going on between Sony, Spider-Man, and MCU, Marvel.
Yeah. Well,
Um, later down the line because nothing's getting answered right now. The more we're getting more questions than we are answers
yeah.
in these
And
movies.
Tom Holland he is signed to Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars as the main lead. So that'll be interesting because he was in Infinity War and he was in Endgame, but if you look at his screen time combined in there, I'm pretty sure it's under 15 minutes
Yeah.
for 5 hours of cinema, 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see him as not necessarily saying the leader of the Avengers, but he will be a lead actor in it. So
I'll say this. I'll say this. I know that Sony very much want to be a part of the MCU. It's very clear. It just doesn't seem like the MCU wanted Spider-Man. They're not really too bothered about Spider-Man.
no, I
And I was
think
like,
they are. I think the
I
MCU
think
are.
no, I think they are now when they announce that Tom is going to be, you know, the lead role in these Avengers movies. I think that's now shown us that. Yeah, they do. Um, so we'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, I don't think we'll get any answers to what's going on between Marvel and Sony, what they're going to do with. We're just going to have to watch the films.
It would.
Try and make a bit of sense out of it. We won't know the full story till years down the line.
It would just be very simpler if Marvel had the rights to Spider-Man. But if they did have the rights, hold my hands up now, we wouldn't get amazing films like Spider-Verse. We wouldn't get it. So, you know, and I still think we're very lucky to be getting Deadpool as well in the hands of Disney. Because that is one thing I remember when they was talking about the buyout. That is one thing I was concerned about. It's like, oh, Deadpool. Oh, no, Deadpool. No, don't buy him. I want Deadpool to stay Deadpool. But they've said Deadpool works, so we're going to keep it as is. But yeah. Like I say, bring me more interesting characters into the MCU. That's what I'm excited about. I want to see anyone who's been in anything Marvel related at all make an appearance in Secret Wars, which I think it will.
We'll save that for another time because
Definitely.
That's like a whole video in itself.
Whole video.
Yeah.
Kyle, we've been going for about an hour.
Mhm.
Do you think we have time for the dumb fairy, or should we save it for tomorrow?
Ooh.
Because we did promise it on yesterday's, but considering there's probably only like 2 or 3 people who watched, I didn't really promise it to anyone, but us two.
Mhm. I mean, I think you should keep it till the end of the week.
Right.
Personally,
End of the week
it'd be a nice Friday night thing to do.
Right. Okay. End of the week it is.
I think Friday night would be perfect because it's like, you know, finish work, it's a nice Friday night,
Yeah.
got something to look forward to, kind of thing.
I tell you what, you guys are gonna absolutely love this fairy. But yeah, so I'll ask you this, Kyle. What's what's most excited you today that we've talked about? And I'll answer the question for you. It's Spider-Man.
You're wrong. It's Expendables.
Expendables.
Exforblers, yeah.
Expendables.
Can't wait for that movie. Golden Globes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be better than everything in the MCU.
I'm actually worried about Barbie's Oscar chances when Expendables comes out.
It's gonna break records. Literally break records. It's gonna get 101 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's never been done before.
It's not possible.
Wow. But it is for
crash.
But it is for Expendables.
It's gonna get 400 then.
Why does it sound like French? Expendables.
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Indeed. But,
yeah.
Obviously, we've done a bit of a different graphic today, a different setup. We're still learning. We're still trying to throw things together. You know, seeing what works best. Do you prefer it with just the titles of the topics up there, or do you want them running down the side, or do you want it to go back to pictures? Because you're all 3-year-olds who like colouring books and want to stare at pictures.
We're doing mix and both.
Yeah, Kyle, anything you want to add on before we sign off?
No, I'm thinking probably just saying next week. I'll have the gaming segment stuff.
Yeah, we're
trialing that a little bit.
We're definitely gonna work on some gaming stuff this weekend. I'm gonna really fine tune the graphics this weekend and get stuff ready so it's consistent every day. When you go into the show, you know what you're gonna see. Stuff like that. We really want to make a good production. Yeah, it's we do want to talk about films and we want to do it in a way that's professional, but we can have a laugh as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, obviously, we'll see what stories we've got to talk about tomorrow. Do you know what? I've got a feeling tomorrow is going to be a busy news day.
If not, we'll find some topics.
Yeah, because it was quite slow today. But then when I got home and seen that masterpiece of an Expendables trailer,
yeah, it was
my
right
excitement.
on it.
But yeah, right.
When did the last Expendable movie come out?
Well, like 2013, I think. Yeah. And that was Expendables.
Starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah. But it's got
I
nothing.
don't think I like it.
It's got nothing on Expendables.
But just so we're clear, like we'll joke about these movies. We're not really into them. If you enjoy them though, that's great.
Yeah.
We love that. That's fantastic. It's just for us. They're not really for us. They're a little, you know,
Yeah.
we see them as a bit too bleh. But if you love them, happy for you. Absolutely. I hope this one is as good as the previous ones if you've enjoyed them. But for us, they're just not really our cup of tea.
No. And the best part about Expendables 2 is when Liam Hemsworth dies.
I've never seen the film.
No, right. Right. We should leave it there then.
I feel like we've talked most about. We said before the show we were like we're barely going to talk about Expendables. I feel like
Expendables.
Fuck's
Right. I've been Callum, as you can see now. Yeah. That's been Kyle. This is Movies and Beyond. This is our daily news segment. Like, subscribe, share the video with your mum. Leave a comment. Leave us a question. Ask us a question. Or even better, leave your own dumb theory in the comments. Obviously not stupid like Bill Cosby's going to show up in Secret Wars, because that's not a dumb theory. We all know that's happening. So, yeah. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I know I have. I know Kyle's enjoyed it. Look at the look on that face. Ecstatic.
I'm still suffering from this eye thing that I don't
Yeah,
know. I
if you
think it's
didn't
hay
watch it,
fever.
if you didn't watch yesterday's episode, he's suffering from his eyes. But like I say,
I've got hay fever. Okay, it's my first time.
shut up. I guess that's it for today. And if you do come back, we'll see you tomorrow.